Rabbi Michael Kahana from Congregation Beth Israel. Now, with the passing of Jean's mom a few weeks ago, she felt that it would be a little difficult to deliver the speech that she had in mind. And she asked Rabbi Kahana if he would touch on a subject that is very dear to her heart. Rabbi Kahana is the senior rabbi of Congregation Beth Israel in Portland. He brings his passion for creating a warm, supportive community where Jewish learning and worship are exciting and engaging. He integrates his rabbinical training and theater background to create an environment in which prayer becomes an art form. Rabbi Kahana's academic interests include the interface of religion and science with an emphasis on medical ethics. He served on the Central Conference of American Rabbis Committee on Human Sexuality and chaired its ad hoc committee on physician-assisted suicide. In 1999, Rabbi Kahana was featured along with his family in the critically acclaimed documentary, The Last Days, and that won the 1999 Academy Award for Best Documentary. The film tells the true stories of 5 Hungarian survivors of the Holocaust, including the rabbi's mother, the renowned Holocaust artist, Alice Kahana. Please welcome Rabbi Michael Kahana.
Thank you. What an honor it is to be here. I first want to say, I want that table in my congregation. There's some good enthusiasm in this room. I think we need to hear a lot of enthusiasm right now for this wonderful organization that you're all supporting. Northwest Hospice Foundation is about doing incredibly good, sometimes very small things that make an incredible difference in the last moments of a person's life. And when you have that opportunity, when you can touch someone, when you can change someone, when you can reach someone and give them a blessing, it's a remarkable gift. It comes from a very, very deep place, and it touches a very, very deep place. So I was asked to come here. It's not accurate to say I was asked to come here. Jeannie ordered me to come. Can I have a show of hands for anyone who has ever said no to Jeannie? Okay, that's what I thought. If you know her, you know what an incredibly powerful source she is, and what she does with great passion. And in our conversations, she's said that the impetus is not just the story that I think most of you know, which is a remarkable story of what brought her to create this foundation, but it comes also from her Jewish upbringing and her concept of tzedakah. She asked me to say just a few words about that concept, what tzedakah is all about. Tzedakah is a word, a Hebrew word, that comes from the word tzedek, which means righteousness, which means doing the right thing. And it's not a unique concept of Judaism. Just the other day, I met with a group of Muslim dads and Jewish dads together, and we were having conversations. It was a remarkable gathering. We were having conversations about what is similar and what's different about our upbringing and our ideals. And there is remarkable overlap, of course. We like to hear a lot about how we're different. It's wonderful also to hear about the ways that we're the same. And in Islam, there is also a notion of a word very much like tzedakah, that is used for charitable giving, a requirement. It's not an option. It's not something you do if you feel like, oh, you know, I'm feeling kind of good, got a little couple extra dollars in my pocket, maybe I'll do something nice. Tzedakah means righteousness. It means obligation. It means responsibility. We have a responsibility. Judaism teaches, Islam teaches, Christianity teaches through tithing. I think religion teaches humility. If we have been blessed, we have a responsibility to not just accept those blessings, but to realize these are blessings to share. And religion teaches us responsibility. It's not all just looking out for ourselves and what's best for me. Part of why we're here in this world is to give something to those who need it. In the Torah today, we read from a portion that's called Kedoshim, which means holiness. It is the holiness code. It's literally the center of a Torah scroll. Scrolled out, when you come to the middle of it, it's this Torah portion. And this Torah portion, this holiness code, has within it something that I think many of you may be very familiar with. You've heard the phrase, the corners of the fields. You have responsibility with the corner of your fields. Anybody a farmer here? Okay, we're living in a different world. I don't understand anything about farming. But I know that in the Bible, there is this commandment. Again, it's not a good idea. It's not something you do if you sort of feel like it. This was a commandment. Farmers, see this nice little dance floor, make believe it's a plot of land where you're farming. Nice little square area. How lovely. You can farm it all. Except, first thing you have to do is draw a circle, an imaginary circle within that square. Everything in that circle is yours. Farm it, feed your family, sell it, make a living, do whatever you want with that circle. The corners of your field do not belong to you. The corners of your fields belong to the poor, belong to the hungry, belong to someone who's in need. And guess what? You don't pick it and go give it to them and say, look how nice I am, what a wonderful person I am, that I'm bringing you this food. It's not yours. They come and pick it themselves because they have dignity, because they have humanity, because it's not you being gracious. It's the right thing to do. And so when we think about tzedakah, when we think about the righteousness of giving, we think about those corners of the fields. It's not a nice idea to take care of those who are in need. It's not a nice idea to give to those who are hungry. And hungry not just for food, hungry for spirit, because human beings live more on spirit than they do on food. It's not a nice idea. It's the right thing to do. It is part of what it means to be a human being. It's part of what it means to be blessed. I don't have a field. I'm not a farmer. And it's probably a really good thing that I'm not a farmer. I'd be really bad at it. But my life is a plot. And there's lots of wonderful things that happen on it. And I've got that circle. That's my responsibility to take care of my family, my friends, myself, do all the things that I need to do. But I've also got those corners. And it's not always possible that people can come in and take what they need. So now I've got an additional responsibility to give, and to give generously to those who are in need. So that's what we're about tonight. It's great to be together. It's great to have a lovely meal and have some wine. And I'm really so glad that we can be together. But remember the real purpose that we're here. We are here to do what is right, what is just, what is compassionate, what is honorable, and to be amazed at how the gifts we can give can make such an incredible difference in someone else's life. May the corners of your fields be very full. May the corners of your fields be capable of changing the lives of others. May your fields grow so that the corners grow as well. And we can all together make a difference in our world. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. 4 years ago, the Dr. Edward E. Rosenbaum Memorial Fund was created in memory of Jean's uncle, who spent the last 25 years of his life teaching and supporting patient advocacy. His philosophy of care embodied treating all patients with dignity and respect to the end. All proceeds from the last 4 events have gone into this fund. And in the last 4 years, hundreds of patients have been served from this fund. Each year we give the Edward E. Rosenbaum Hospice Life Award to a very deserving individual who has greatly helped in the advancement of hospice through their dedication to the philosophy and the cause. Our last 4 recipients were Governor Barbara Roberts, Kay Kirkbride, who started Care Partners Hospice in Hillsborough, Judy Spinner, a longtime hospice volunteer with over 5,000 hours of service, and Heidi Berkman, founder of the Bloom Project. Tonight, Dr. George Drayson, Medical Director of Legacy Hospice in Portland, will introduce Dr. Joycelyn White, this year's award recipient. Please welcome Dr. Drayson.
I was so pleased when Jocelyn invited me to present her at this evening's event. For the past 3 years, Jocelyn and I have shared the hospice practice at Legacy Health. And our partnership has really been a wonderful experience, exceptionally compatible and mutually supportive. While we have a wonderful work relationship and a true friendship, I've also had to rely upon Jocelyn to be a mentor for me because I came to hospice care very late in my professional life and from a non-clinical background. So I've had to rely upon her over and over again for help. And Jocelyn has been extremely generous in her time, her thoughts. It doesn't matter whether she's overworked, and I call her during the day, or it's after hours, she's always there to help me, and I have truly appreciated it. The same type of helping attitude brought Jocelyn to be a major teacher of hospice and palliative care. And I'd like to describe many accomplishments and works over many, many years. Jocelyn has authored 1 book on healthcare, has been the author or co-author of 10 book chapters and 34 medical articles relating to hospice and palliative care. She has given so many invited presentations locally, statewide, nationally, and internationally that when I started to count them, I stopped counting them because there was certainly over 100. She has also been a reviewer, editor, and columnist for medical journals, in addition to personally teaching many, many residents, fellows, medical students, and nurses. Jocelyn is a native of Cincinnati, Ohio. After high school, she attended Wellesley College, where she met her future wife, Lynn Nakamoto. Lynn now sits as a justice on the Supreme Court of Oregon. Jocelyn and Lynn are the happy parents of Ellie, who is not here at a prom tonight. Ellie will soon be a graduate of high school. Jocelyn graduated from Wellesley, magna cum laude at Phi Beta Kappa. Went to New York University School of Medicine, and then became a resident in medicine at Legacy Good Samaritan Hospital, then chief resident in medicine, and then a fellow in general internal medicine at OHSU and Legacy. For the past 12 years, Jocelyn has been the medical director of Legacy Hospices with a long stint also as director of palliative care services. I think it would be accurate to say that Jocelyn has had a significant impact on the care of innumerable hospice and palliative care patients throughout this country and beyond the borders of this country. It's the type of impact that will continue as people who she has educated take care of the patients who we care about. As for our being here, Jocelyn has many outstanding qualities which are clearly demonstrated to anyone who has contact with her. Her teaching is superior, always able to impart information in a manner that is understandable, logical, and easy to absorb. I would say that her clinical judgment ranks among the best of my colleagues throughout my career. Her high level of work comes not only from experience and great knowledge, but with the ability to be incisive and simplify complex issues. But Jocelyn has one quality that can only be seen by accompanying her as she cares for patients. That is the ability to listen. She listens in a manner that allows people to feel heard and deeply understood. That quality of relationship with the patient widens the space for a deeper level of healing. We have fellows coming through our practice for training. They first come to me for outpatient, and then they go to Jocelyn for inpatient at Hopewell. At the end of their process with me, I frequently tell them that they will undoubtedly be able to master medicine, the techniques and methods that we use to help palliate and make our patients more comfortable. But the higher skill, more difficult skill, is the ability to listen. And for that, I say, watch Jocelyn. I would like to thank you for this opportunity to present Jocelyn, and I would also like to thank Jocelyn for the lovely practice we've had for the last 3 years.
Thank you, George, for that generous introduction. And thank you all so very much for this award. It is such an honor to be recognized by this community of people who have so much compassion. Jiminy Cricket sang, "When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are, anything your heart desires will come to you." In the movie Pinocchio, Jiminy believed that a star had the power to turn wishes into dreams come true. In our midst, we have all the wonderful people here tonight who have the power to turn wishes into the smiles of dreams come true for those whose time is short. Those smiles create connections, and connections bring us closer together, transforming the wishes of people receiving hospice care into a closer, more connected community is magical alchemy and a marvelous act of compassion. We're not compassionate in order to reap the benefits for ourselves, but if the research is correct, kindness and compassion are good for us. They bring happiness, health, and longevity. They combat the blues. They lift up those around us. They spread like a chain reaction and connect us to one another. I count it a blessing to be recognized by this compassionate community. May we all find it in our hearts tonight to join this magical alchemy. Thank you.
This is in your program too if you want to follow along. 12 bottles of wine donated by Glenn Brunger, 4 bottles each of 2012 Malbec, Syrah, and Cabernet Sauvignon by Vinter Glenn Brunger. Each bottle has an original photograph by Gene Rosenbach. Number 4 is a Balthazar of wine. It's donated by Vinter Glenn Brunger. Balthazar of wine equals, get this, 16 bottles, perfect. A 3-night stay at the beautiful Central Oregon Coast Resort. It's located at the south end of Lincoln City.
I feel very blessed to be able to donate and get to work here again, helping you folks raise money. I have been an outdoors guide here in the Pacific Northwest for the last 25 years. And I have one of only 12 jet boat permits on the Lower Deschutes River. And I am offering tonight to donate a trip for up to 6 of you for a jet boat ride. We're gonna have
Healthier. Please welcome Jay Douglas.
On behalf of the Board of Directors, I'm so pleased to share this evening with you and to thank you for your support and to acknowledge all of our staff, our volunteers, our supporters, our allies, and our partners who have helped us grow over the last 6 years. You each and all help us fulfill our mission to make the final days of the people that we are honored to serve a time when small comforts are offered, a time for family to come together, to prepare, a time to fulfill a purpose, a goal, and sometimes even a dream. The things that we do are sometimes big, sometimes small, but they always matter. They always matter to the people who are counting their remaining time in weeks, days, and sometimes hours. Ask yourself if, and truly when, you come to that time in your own life, what is it that you think will matter to you? Tonight, once again, as we continue our mission to honor the journey, I have the honor of sharing with you the journey that we've been on this last year. It's been a full and eventful one. As we moved from our journey from infancy to being a big kid, or well, at least a bigger kid, I'll share with you again some of the stories of the people that we've served, and I'll tell you what we have in store for the next year. This, our annual gala, is the time, it's our most important event of the year. Last year, our gala was the most successful gala we had. We raised over $65,000. That was a 63% increase over the year before. Let's do that again. So this is the time when we traditionally raise most of the money that we fund our services with for the upcoming year. And just like that kid outgrowing her shoes, as we move into our next stage of development, we're ready for new lace-ups. We've got lots to do and lots more places to be. This year we've been building the foundation of our organization. It's time to ready, and we are ready now to leap, to jump, and to run. And I'm happy to tell you that we are ready. Last year, with your support, we increased our services significantly by funding a record number of gifted wishes for patients. We fund over 99% of the wishes granted that we get requests for. We increased the number of hospices that we work with. I said 18, but Jean said 20 a little earlier, so the numbers just keep racking up. And we've launched our outreach program to begin partnering with our businesses and hospice partners. We built our capacity to work more effectively by working with a nonprofit organization to help us promote our organization's structure. We hired Jay Anderson, go Jay, as our development director. Jay is helping us create our major gifts program and is engaging other regional foundations to secure additional resources. We brought on a mostly volunteer, Elle Zover, who is like a rock star, communications manager. Go Elle, she's the one around here taking pictures. She's helped us create a new website, our marketing materials, including a media packet, and she's expanding our social marketing. And for those of you who are over like 50, that's when you go onto Facebook, right? That's social marketing. We hired Laird Young as our executive assistant, who keeps us on a straight, and you'll excuse the expression, narrow. We appointed and have developed our board this last year, and we've added a record number of donors and donations to the foundation. As impressive as this growth has been, and as proud as I am of our foundation's achievements in moving from its promising beginnings to a healthy and flourishing organization we're becoming, I am, and we are always keenly aware of why we do what we do. It's easy to remember, because the lives of the people we serve and the time left to them is precious and not something we ever lose sight of. Let me tell you about just a few of the people we've served this last year and about what mattered to them during their final days. Each time I read or hear about the stories, I find that I learn and sometimes relearn some of the most basic truths about what matters most in this life. So here's a little spoiler alert. It's always about the connections that we have with people and the meaning that we make. So here are some of the lessons that I take from the people we've served this last year. Lesson number 1. Making beauty is about making and connecting to life. People who make beauty, who are artists, like the people who are sharing tonight with us. I had one tell me just before dinner began tonight that when you make art, it's your soul calling. So if you find your soul calling, that's a lesson. Listen. Celia was a lifelong artist. We gifted the canvas and materials needed to spend her final weeks continuing to create the art she had always had, and it was her passion. And Marianne, she'd been an avid gardener her whole life. And she was gifted by the beauty of a flower box being installed and filled outside her hospice facility window. Another lesson I learned from the stories is that we all want to leave something behind, something that says that we were here. Susan was bedbound, and we gifted her the materials to create one last legacy of a latch rug for her daughter Lily to have after she passed. And Barbara, who was no longer able to use her hands, we gifted her with a voice recorder so that she could leave personal messages for her family. Lesson number 3, it's important to take care of our bodies, to care for these vessels that carry us through our lives. At 70 years old, Solomon, he had been being cared solely by his wife. We gifted Solomon with much-needed massage sessions to help ease the pain that he was experiencing and bring him comfort. Marshall, who had been sleeping upright in an office chair due to his discomfort from late-stage COPD, was gifted with a recliner to bring great comfort to him in his last days. Here's one. Home is where the heart is. Going home to spend his final days surrounded by friends and family, Henry, who was a Parkinson's patient, was gifted with a wheelchair ramp to make the return home possible. And though she had spent most of her time living in America, Marcella was gifted with airfare and costs needed to return home to Mexico to spend her final days at home with her family. And although the Pacific Northwest had been his home, Glenn was gifted with a train ride to get home to Ohio to spend his final days with his friends and family. I like this one especially. It's the one I struggle with most, I think, in this life. And that is that playtime is really important. Frank was an avid hobbyist, and we gifted him with the gift of transportation so he could go and spend a day at the model train yard at the model train expo. And Caleb, who was suffering from chronic illness, was gifted a wheelchair so that he could spend time traveling with his family. Richard, who was 92, his gift was transportation by ambulance to see his favorite team, the Portland Trail Blazers, to take in the basketball one last time. And for Harold, who was a World War II veteran, he was almost 100 years old. And we sent him for the day to his old watering hole. We transported him for a fishing day with his old friend. The lesson that belief and faith in something bigger than yourself and the fellowship or sisterhood needed to support it, that's very important. Helen was gifted with transportation to church so that she could be baptized. And Fran, who wanted to attend Easter services at her beloved church, one last time. We gifted her with the transportation she needed so she could worship among her friends and family. We all know this one, right? It's the people we love that matter most. For Grace, it was the gift that made it possible for her beloved grandson, Stephen, to come to Portland just one last time to hold his grandmother's hand as she lost her battle to cancer. And then for Helen and Mary, two sisters, Bob's two sisters, who were collecting bottles and cans to come and be with their brother. We brought them here. We paid their travel expenses. And we gave them that extra time to spend with Bob. And for Colin, who hadn't seen his two sons in many years, it was the gift of airline tickets to bring them to Portland to say goodbye. I was just talking with some friends at the table about going to the ocean, and this lesson I love a lot. Time by the ocean is always a gift. For Philip, who's an 86-year-old veteran, he was gifted with the dream of a day in Bandon, Oregon, where he was joined by his friends and family. And for Hillary, a cancer patient, she and her husband of nearly 50 years were gifted with a trip to the Oregon coast to take the sea breeze and watch the sunrise over the ocean one last time. Now, for those of you who know me most well, you'll recognize this one, and it will sound familiar as a lesson. Birthdays should always be celebrated. Right? At 78, Beth was gifted with the joy of music by a guitarist who came to celebrate her birthday at her bedside. And for Clark, turning 90 was a very big deal, and we helped him celebrate his birthday surrounded by friends and family with a cake and decorations. Yeah. These stories, these lessons on living fully, on loving tenderly, and dying peacefully. They tell us why we do what we do, and why our giving, in whatever ways possible, are able to make such a profound difference in the people we are called on to care for. In a few minutes, you'll have the chance to hear and see for yourselves the people that we've served. Hospice patients we serve are referred to us because there is no other way for these simple needs to be met. We continue to make this part of our cornerstone of our mission, and as we embark on the upcoming year, we hold that truth close in our thoughts and in our hearts. So I'll tell you just real quickly about our goals for 2016. We intend to more than double our individual donors to 300. We intend to increase the number of hospice partners to 30. We will increase our communications work by increasing our earned and social media presence. So far, we've had a radio interview, which was broadcast over 6 radio stations, and an article in the May issue of the Oregon Jewish Life. We're launching our major capital campaign through a major gift program to raise $500,000 in the next 3 years. And we're continuing to work with an organizational development professional to help us make sure we know how to work smarter. When Jean founded the Pacific Northwest Hospice Foundation in 2010, she had a vision born out of her experience of caring for people in hospice. In that work, Jean saw how often the resources available to them covered their basic needs, but did not cover those things that would so easily make their days just a little easier, more comfortable, and yes, more meaningful. Jean's vision and aspirations are coming to fruition. During the last 6 years, with your support, and we have granted hundreds of gifted wishes to hospice patients. All of these patients had the opportunity to enjoy one gifted wish before their journey ended. As we look forward to the year ahead, we're newly energized about having reached a milestone in our development to now be steady and ready to fulfill the other important parts of our mission, to create awareness of hospice services and to educate our communities about the value of hospice. Thank you again for your generous support of our mission, to the people we serve, and to the mission we are all on together. Now,